Welcome to Let's Talk. Where ordinary people are doing extraordinary things. We are live and interactive. With education, spoken word, dating, love, and relationships. Culture. Spirituality. Community. Sports. And politics. Let's talk. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Hey, good evening, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and my new frown thing, Twitch, as well as our other streaming devices. And tonight we had an interesting show. Usually me and Wayne, we talk our sports stuff, but we're going to try something different this year when we talk about the NFL draft. We're going to do Wayne's mock draft. We're going to start with round one. But Dwayne, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? Happy Saturday night. Just, it's chilly in the Northeast. I don't know where everybody else is at, but it's cold. So, that lazy weekend. So, being that I had a lazy weekend and I watched the Super Bowl, I put together my first mock draft, man. So,
I think everybody is suffering from what I was suffering the last 2 days because I was telling you over the phone, like, yo, it's cold, brother. It's cold. What is that, Dwayne? What adult beverage is that, sir?
it's not an adult beverage. We are not sponsored. It's soda pop, but we won't say what brand. As you can see, I got it to the back, so you can't see what brand it is.
Oh, okay. Well, you sent me your mock draft. You want to talk about NFL rumors first? And I mean, Dwayne, I've never seen the NFL like this. It's getting worse. And
NFL may be becoming sort of like the NBA. Some of the things the NBA does as far as players determining where they want to go. I'm a Deshaun Watson fan, so I'll put that disclosure out there. But it's amazing what has happened in the last 18 months with this young man, because it was just a little less than 18 months ago where he sat at a press conference crying about being so happy about Houston locking him up long term, and to where now he's trying to force a trade. And the tough part for Houston is that he has a no trade clause. But I did incorporate 2 quarterbacks being traded in my mock draft, because the hot rumor that's going on right now is they're saying that Matt Stafford will be dealt before the Super Bowl. So if he's going to be dealt before the Super Bowl and they don't want to take any of the shine away from the Super Bowl, he's either going to be traded Monday or Tuesday. Because the Super Bowl week.
Because media day is Wednesday, right?
Yeah. Used to be Tuesday, but all of a sudden last year.
I think it's we talk about the NFL. I think it's interesting because you've always hit it the players deserve guaranteed contracts. And I know me and you always laugh when we see our friends say that, because I don't think they understand it. You got 53 players. You can't guarantee contracts, even though
No.
the contracts are really top heavy, where the quarterbacks actually in some circles feel as though people say that the quarterback shouldn't even go against the salary cap because the quarterbacks take up 15 to 20% of your cap most of the time, and then you got your 53rd, 55th guy who might just be making league minimum. So I know a lot of people always say, well, they need guaranteed contract. But I think what the players are doing is interesting. I'm not going to say I'm judging them in a good way or a bad way. I'll just say it's very interesting that you guys are signing these deals, and 2 years into the deals, you want out of your destination.
Yeah.
I think going forward, what's going to happen is NFL owners, and they always do it. They're very spiteful. What they're gonna do is make these contracts real short term, and in order to get that no trade clause, you're gonna have to be one of them, a Patrick Mahomes. And we thought Deshaun Watson was that, and he's that as a player, and we thought he was gonna be in Houston forever. And it's amazing, like what happened with that franchise.
It is.
And if you watch football and you know anything about the Houston team, the owner before he passed away, Bob McNair, made some very interesting, crazy statements during that Kaepernick fiasco. But it's kind of ironic that after he died, the organization got worse.
Yeah, it did. And a lot of the players didn't like that one dude that's in the organization. Like, you don't have Andre Johnson say much of anything. So when he came out and said what he said, I was like, whoa. And DeAndre Hopkins, he feels the way that he feels, and pretty soon JJ Watt's gonna be wanting to get out of there. So it's gonna be interesting, man. It's an interesting time for the NFL. Of course, you had the Senior Bowl today, which was a very good game. Wound up being a 27-24 game. Kellen Mond, who I like a lot, was the MVP. He reminds me a lot of Rain Dakota Prescott, Texas A&M quarterback. Probably a late round, like earliest he'll go is probably the 5th round. But I think he's a gamer, man, and he showed a little something in the Senior Bowl.
Yeah,
And if we remember correctly, Dak Prescott had a very good Senior Bowl and was the Senior Bowl MVP, and got picked in the 4th round. So the similarities continue with these two guys.
and then you get 2 injuries on your roster, and boom, next thing you know, he's thrust in the middle, right there, smack in the middle of everything. So,
But if you want, man, because we're doing a quick hitter, we can get right into it, man. And,
yeah. I just wanted to
we
talk
can
about
talk
those
about
rumors because, like I said, the rumors were
and it's still
it's
gonna be,
interesting. And I even seen that Watt's name came up on one of them sites. They said that his name, and I'm not surprised that Watt deserves to be able to play in some meaningful games. Yeah, I think he's been to the playoffs 3 times.
yeah.
You know,
The most surprising thing for me in this NFL week was it's rare that you get a general manager who does a press conference and doesn't really give a vote of confidence for his quarterback. Les Snead just basically was like, Jared Goff could be gone. And if you think about that year, right, you got Jared Goff that went 1, you got Carson Wentz that went 2. They got their money. Dak Prescott didn't get his money. And now those two organizations is like knocking the quarterbacks that they gave all this money to.
yeah, yeah. My friend Ann is watching. Yeah, and we have a podcast now. I've been doing this for about 15 months, and I usually don't stream to my main channel on Facebook, but very rare I do, and I've been doing it lately. So I'm glad you could watch us, Ann. But this is one of our football days.
Yeah.
What I thought was interesting, Dwayne, really blew me away, and I forget what journalist tweeted it. But did you see the press conference of the new coach of the Eagles?
Yeah, my big sister is a big Eagles fan. So she reached out to me today and we was talking about it. And I think the young guy got nervous. I think he got nervous. He started explaining something And then in his mind, he knew he wasn't explaining it the way that he wanted to. And he just kept going down a cycle that didn't look good. So first impressions, not the greatest. I understood what he was trying to say, but he botched it, man. He botched it terribly.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Thanks, Ann. Appreciate it. Um, I thought it was interesting his press conference because I kind of laughed at first and said, "What this guy is stage fright?" Them people, the media, because we know how the media in Philadelphia could be. But then I
Yeah,
said, you know
that's
what?
what it
It's
was.
virtual. It ain't that many people there.
I know,
But
but I still
but
think he just got.
but you know, you get these ex coordinators who may go from used to talking once every two
I mean, how
weeks.
many times? And he's a coordinator in name only. Let's be honest, folks. Frank Wright calls a lot of that offense, which makes me mad because that. And we ain't gonna go down that rabbit hole. We discussed it last week when we did a show about Eric Bieniemy and how again you have another coaching cycle that goes by and this guy doesn't get hired, and they keep changing the narrative. The narrative was, Eric Bieniemy ain't called plays. Well, this guy ain't called plays. Frank Wright did. But
Hmm.
anyway, we ain't gonna revisit all that.
Yeah,
But
I thought it was funny. You know me. We keep a joke about the Washington football team, the Eagles and the Giants.
then
But
I've kept my eye really on the situation in Detroit with Dan Campbell. And if you look at what he's done with his staff, his coaching staff, a lot of ex players. You got Anthony Lynn, you got Aaron Glenn. Um, God, I just drew a blank. But he just hired another former. You got Deuce Staley as his assistant head coach and running backs coach, and he hired somebody else. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it's a DB. His DB coach also played in the league, so he got a coaching staff full of ex players. So that's
yeah,
who.
I think that one thing that Dan Campbell, and I know that a lot of times when we talk about diversity, I think that one of the things, and me and you know a lot about Dan Campbell. We watched him play for a long time, and we know who his mentor and coach was. So I think that when we speak about diversity in the NFL coaching ranks, and I'm not saying that Dan Campbell's not being diverse because obviously, clearly, he's being diverse. But I know that he's picking these guys who he believes that he can run through a brick wall with. Guys he's played with, basically guys he know that can coach, but also were good players and basically warriors and know
Well,
how to coach. Because if you know anything about Anthony Lynn, Anthony Lynn is a good coach. Me and you criticized him about some of his game management.
yeah.
Aaron Glenn definitely has worked up the ranks.
Listen, man, he hired two African American coordinators. And see what people got to see is these is all good things, okay? Because this is going to give us more viable minority candidates going forward. You look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who's in the Super Bowl, African American offense coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator. So they're getting that experience. You see what I'm saying? And now you look at Detroit, assistant head coach, black, offense coordinator black, defense coordinator black. So that's how we're gonna start getting those head coaching jobs, getting these coordinator jobs, and the next step is to get the head coaching job.
And the general manager. Make sure you say that too.
Well, listen, you look at the Washington football team right now. Their president, general manager are African American. They got a head coach of Latin descent, and they just hired a female
The first woman,
assistant running back coach. So
yeah.
it's things happening, man. They may not be happening as fast in the NFL as people want, but it's happening. My biggest gripe was just Bieniemy, man. I mean, come on. This man has been to 3 straight AFC championship games, 2 Super Bowls, and we'll save our picks, but got a chance to be a back-to-back Super Bowl champion.
Yeah. I
So,
like that hat, sir. When'd you
oh
get
yeah,
that?
that's the
You
NFL hat with all the team logos on it. And just to show
interesting.
people we ain't biased, but the star is somewhere up there. Where is that? The top of the hat. It's at the top of the hat. But it's all the logos on there, all the team. You know, the bum
So
ass Giants are somewhere. I don't know where the bum ass Giants are. I think they're
as the as they say, Dwayne,
yes, sir.
um,
The front was tough. The hat don't fit like it used to because, you know,
your
COVID.
your
COVID
your
got me a
first
front.
round, Dwayne. This is Dwayne's show tonight. Where Dwayne will be
It's very
discussing his
dangerous giving me my own. Yeah, you may lose
Du-
some viewers. I
Dwayne
got a lot of
Dwayne
haters out there, man. I be putting stuff out there, and then people just come out the woodwork. But my haters make me greater.
the barber.
That's my man. That's Bob. Yeah, you right, Bob. You right. They should
Hey,
have stayed with Jim Caldwell. You're 100% right. 100% right.
we're gonna discuss the Super Bowl. We This is
Yeah. We ain't gonna hit the Super Bowl
a
yet.
mock draft show.
Yeah, we ain't gonna hit the Super Bowl yet, man. You know.
So
And
Dwayne,
yes, sir.
your mock draft.
Yes, sir.
The
Including
Jackson
two trades.
the
Two trades.
Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock.
And quickly they snatch up Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback from Clemson. There's no debating on that. He's one of those that people consider a can't miss.
Does
And
his skill set match with what Urban Meyer
absolutely,
and Linehan try to do down there?
absolutely. He fits any system. That's how he is. Now a lot of people are gonna be like Justin Fields, but I want you all to remember Justin Fields didn't play for Urban Meyer at Ohio State. Played for Jason Day. Okay. So, you know, he knows of Justin Fields because he had the red shirt that. No. Matter of fact, he ain't red shirt. He went right in. He got an
Yeah.
exemption. So, yeah, he didn't play for Urban Meyer, but Urban Meyer knows. The one good thing about Urban Meyer being the head coach of Jacksonville, come on, man, he making some of them personnel decisions. And I don't know if there's any other front office that knows these players as much as Urban Meyer's going to know them. Maybe still Mike Mayock, but that's it. But I think Trevor Lawrence goes number one. And the number
I'm
two
gonna ask
pick.
you. I'm gonna ask you a question about the number one pick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you think his skill set matches? How many years did Urban Meyer sign for?
That's a good question. I think he signed for 4. Don't hold me to it, but I think he
Okay.
signed for 4.
Yeah, I think Shad Khan's going to definitely give him a chance. And it's funny because a lot of people don't know, even though it's Jacksonville, Gainesville ain't too far. And Urban Meyer is a legend down
I
there.
love him back.
Now, the New York Jets are on the clock.
New York Jets is on the clock. I believe, it's just my belief. This is just Dwayne's belief. I believe the Jets will be trading this number 2 pick along with Sam Darnold, a second-round pick, and then next year's number 1 for Deshaun Watson.
Mm.
So I think with Houston getting Sam Darnold, they're going to need to protect him because they could never protect Deshaun Watson. So I think with this number 2 pick, they take the can't-miss offensive tackle out of Oregon, Penei Sewell, to protect Sam Darnold.
So you'll have Penei Sewell on the right or the left, and then Tunsil on the right and the left.
Yeah.
So you have 2 bookend tackles.
2 bookends.
That's interesting for Sam Donald going forward with the Houston franchise because really that may be a good situation and a good trade for both franchises that you thought about that type of trade because Houston needs draft capital. They get their young quarterback and they get like I said, they get another tackle,
Now,
which should be able to protect him.
I'm sorry, I hated to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Now, a lot of people will be like, that don't sound like enough. But you got to understand, the Jets is also taking on that big salary. They got a lot of space. They got a lot of cap space. They got about $70 million in cap space, the Jets. But because they're taking on that big salary, they're not going to get 3 number 1s. They're not. You know, that's going to take down some of their. They're not going to have to give up both of their first rounders this year because they're taking on that big salary. People got to be mindful of that. You know, and Houston will bring in Sam Darnold with 1 year to go and a prove it or lose it type situation.
What type of offense do you think that Robert Saleh is going to run with the Jets? Who did he
Well,
hire as a coordinator?
he hired he's gonna run with the 49ers run. He got Mike LaFleur, who's the younger brother of the Green Bay head coach, but who's
Okay,
been there with Shanahan in San Francisco, and he's a part of that offense that's out there. So they're gonna run that what you see San
with a
Francisco running.
and basically a cover three type of defense because
Yep,
Saleh's from that Seattle
absolutely,
tree as well.
absolutely. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
that's interesting. It's interesting because um, the Jets are in a peculiar situation in a good way because they have the draft capital. They can still get a skill position guy with Deshaun up there, and they got money to spend, which a lot of people don't realize is that they last offseason they got their offense line, and it was surprising that Donald didn't have a bigger year last year, but I believe that the coach just sabotaged
yeah,
everything. I think that the players didn't want to play hard for the coach.
yeah.
So the Bengals is on the clock. Who the third pick?
No,
Let
no.
me. My
Third
bad.
pick.
My bad, Wayne. My bad. Let me get myself together. Oh, wow. How could I forget this team? The Miami Dolphins is on the clock.
The Miami Dolphins is on the clock, and they would be heartbroken by the trade that I projected in front of them, because Panay Sewell will be gone and off the board. But they got to do. Their defense is pretty solid, so I think they got to do something for this offense. They got to help Tua out, man. A lot of people was knocking Tua this year, thinking that the Dolphins should go away from him. People don't understand the seriousness of that injury he suffered. If there's one thing I knocked Brian Flores on this year, is I think he should have just gave it to Fitz Magic the whole year, gave Tua the whole year to heal up, learn from a veteran quarterback, and then come back, in 2021 fresh off that injury and ready to go. I kind of think they forced him back too quick this year, and it showed a little bit in his game. But I think he's their quarterback going forward, man. Listen, he was one that a lot of people thought should have been the first overall last year before the injury. You understand what I'm saying? So I think they get Tua some help. I think they give him who I think is the best wide receiver in this draft. And I think they go with Jamar Chase, the wide receiver at LSU for the Miami
Hmm,
Dolphins.
interesting. Can't go wrong. Me and you had picked Miami as our dark horses this season
Still,
with
I'm
all
on
that dark
the
crap for
Miami
them.
bandwagon.
It's gonna be interesting. When we do our draft show,
Yeah.
the team that we decide to pick this year that may come out of nowhere and surprise some folks.
And just to give people a heads up, this is Mach 1.0. So by the time we do our draft show, it may be completely different. You still got what they're going to do. It's not going to be your normal combine. Sounds like it's going to be regional. And I want people to understand something. And, I don't toot my own horn, but I've been charting drafts since I was 10 years old. It's something that I love to do. I watch a lot of film on these players, so I'm not just going on CBS Sportsline and, oh, this person picked that person, so I need to pick that person. No, I'm making this. This is my mock draft, and it may fall in line with some of the other ones you see, but I love doing this stuff, man. And I hate the winter. It's cold. So on a day like today, when I ain't going outside because it feels like 10 degrees, it's what I do to pass my time.
The Atlanta Falcons is on the clock.
Atlanta Falcons is on the clock, and at 4, I think they take their quarterback of the future. I think they take the hometown boy. I think they take Justin Fields, and they don't have to rush him on the field because they got Matt Ryan. So this kid can learn from Matt Ryan next year after. He's young, he's athletic. There's still some things he has to learn. He has a new coach, and Arthur Smith, who's going to want to run the ball, have a short passing game, quick passing game. And I think Justin Fields is somebody. Listen, it'll be a home run from a publicity standpoint. Georgia boy comes home and plays for the Falcons. And I like Justin Fields a lot, even though he plays for that team in Ohio. And I'm a Michigan fan, so damn him and Ohio State. But I got to put all that bias aside. and I think he is the second best quarterback in this draft. And I think the Falcons, they're gonna be bad. They're gonna rebuild and let this young quarterback learn from a very good quarterback in Matt Ryan.
Do you think that this just out of the blue? You think Julio should be packing his stuff and trying to get to a contender?
I don't see Julio doing that. He doesn't seem like that type of guy to me. Julio's very understated. You don't hear him say a lot. He's not a diva wide receiver. He's just not. He just goes about his business. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be good for him to be traded up out of there. I just don't see him as somebody that would try to force it.
Okay, that was just something I threw in there. Cincinnati Bungles is on the clock. Are they the Bungles or the Bengals yet?
We're gonna call them the Bengals. We're gonna be respectful to everybody. Okay.
And their pick last year, he definitely impressed me. I was not a big Joe Burrow fan.
Burrow would do what he would do.
He was a lot better than I expected.
But they got to get him help. He needs Secret Service protection. No quarterback was on the run more than that, man.
So they draft Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern.
They take Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern. Try to protect him a little bit, man. He got beat up. He's going to be coming back from that injury.
I know a lot of scouts say about Rashawn Slater, Dwayne. They say that he might be the only offensive lineman in a long time that can literally play all 5 positions.
Play everywhere on the line. And when you got line versatility like that, you could take him. And some people may look at me and be like, oh, you crazy. You got that boy going in the top 5. Sometimes you got to go with need. I don't care if it's a 5th pick. You got to go with need. And this team needs offensive line help. So unless they trading down, which I don't have them trading down, I got them taking a big fella out of Northwestern offensive tackle.
And number 6 for your Philadelphia Eagles. You got
number 6 for the Philadelphia Eagles. They made a mistake last year. You and I both said it after the draft. To take Jalen Rager over Justin Jefferson just did not make any sense. It made no sense at all. Justin Jefferson probably going to be the offensive rookie of the year with the numbers he put up in Minnesota. And the Eagles had a chance to do that. So they got an interesting situation at 6. Which Alabama wide receiver do they take? And I think they're going to take Jalen Waddle. I know Devontae Smith won the Heisman. He's a little bit on the small side. They need them a big receiver that could go and make plays because Jalen Rager is just a speed guy. So I think they take Jalen Waddle to help out Carson Wentz.
For the sake of because we root for an NFC East team, Dwayne, give us your opinion about the direction of where the Eagles are going. Are they in rebuild mode? I know that the offensive line got old and got beat up very fast.
Well, I think what you could say about the Philadelphia Eagles is that Carson Wentz won the battle. It came down to Doug Peterson or Carson Wentz. And Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Rose went with Carson Wentz. We're going to see. You had that young coach that came in there. And like I said, first impressions is the only impressions you could go by. And that guy failed his introductory press conference. But he's a Frank Reich disciple. Frank Reich was the person that had Carson Wentz playing his best football. Frank Reich probably has been telling Sirianni, this kid can do it. So they're going to build around Carson Wentz. And they got to get him help. They need offensive line help.
So what I know that me and you we didn't get a chance to talk about it this week. Did either one of us listen to the Fanatic? Because we live in the area where we can hear the Fanatic and the New York stations as well. I know that Mike Missinelli had made some statements. The players, that locker room, the first thing that he has to do as a coach is get that locker room together because the locker room is kind of fractured with some of the moves that the organization been making.
The locker room is very fractured because the assistant head coach, Deuce Staley, assistant head coach, running back coach, who told them, release me from my contract. I don't want to be here. And he was a big advocate. He was somebody that the players went to through Chip Kelly, through everything. He was there. He was there with Andy Reid. So you're losing. His loss to me is bigger than the Doug Peterson loss. Losing Deuce Staley in that locker room. And it didn't take Deuce Staley long to get a job because now he's the assistant head coach, running back coach in Detroit. So the first thing this new coach got to do, he's a young guy. He's 37 years old. Some of his players, Jason Peters, and some of those guys is like maybe a year younger than him. Year two younger.
Breaking news, Dwayne.
Yes.
Breaking news, according to ESPN Schefter, the Lions are trading Matt Stafford to the Rams for Jared Goff and 2 future first-round picks and a third-round pick.
Oh, wow. Well, that throws a monkey wrench on my mock draft, but we'll just keep going with my 1.0 like I had it. They said they would trade him before Tuesday. And man, Jared Goff, man, I feel bad for that guy. But, hey, he going to the Lions now, and maybe Dan Campbell could do something for him. Matt Stafford out there in the Rams. I will say this, though. Styles makes fights is what they say. I don't know about Matt Stafford with Sean McVay. I don't know.
A lot of times, I know, Dwayne. A lot of times when we discuss sports, and you mentioned style makes fights, and it's funny that you brought it up, and it's like we just have this thought pattern at the same time.
Man, we've been doing this since we was 6th grade, man.
And it's amazing because I can't see Matt Stafford allowing McVay to basically take the ball out of his hands a lot of times. Matt Stafford is a very, very talented player. He's put up big numbers. I don't know if a lot of people realize he's been the fastest quarterback to 20 and 30,000 yards. He's been on the bad side of a Detroit is. I never want to call any organization bad, but I'll just say that they've been, when you're in a division and one of your rivals pick 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in succession, it's hard to really ever get that chance to compete. As you can see with what's going on with the AFC East now, since Brady's out of there, now we're seeing other teams compete. So Detroit, you never know what they had a good team. They lost in the playoffs a couple times. Megatron retired because he felt as though his health was more important than anything, and which is understandable. So now Matt Stafford gets a new lease on life. And LA Rams, man, one thing I can say about the owner Kroenke and Les Snead, they definitely throw their hat in the ring, man. They definitely make a go for it. So it's going to be interesting with them going out there.
Yeah, so this throws a little bit of a monkey wrench on my mock draft, but we'll keep going with it the way. Well, yeah, I guess we can't really go with it the way that I had it. I don't know.
Oh, your seventh pick. Still go with it because you never know, they may still draft them.
Nah, I think this changes my mock draft altogether. They're not going to draft a quarterback now, Detroit, because. But we'll do this on the fly. We'll make adjustments on the fly. This is what it's about. I did this mock draft earlier in the day. But this changes a lot of things with my mock. So I had Waddle going 6. And then at 7, before we knew about this trade, I had Zach Wilson going, the quarterback from BYU. So we'll still stick with that, even though we know that's not going to happen now. We'll still stick with it.
Yeah.
But in reality, at 7 now, you're Detroit. You look at that receiving core at Detroit, what's there? They could now go with Devontae Smith at 7.
But one of the things Dwayne, and you know better than anybody, one of the things that Dan Campbell is going to do, Dan Campbell is going to build that franchise from the lines out. Right. They're going to get tough. And the reason why I say that, people may be like, well, Dan Campbell never coached in the NFL. Dan Campbell comes from the Parcells tree. He played with Parcells. Right, this is how he got down to Miami. He went down to Miami with Parcells and Jeff Ireland, and then he wound up going and coaching up under Sean. So he's going to know how to build that franchise
You know what's
from the lines out.
well, you know what's interesting about this trade now that I think about it, right? The Rams, like the Lions, is giving up Matt Stafford, right? So they're getting the Rams first round pick too, right? The Rams don't have a first round pick. So that's why I have to be futures first round pick.
Yeah.
Rams don't have no first round picks this year.
For a while, the Rams don't have no first round picks for a while.
Yeah, so they're saying future. And what people got to think about this, the Lions have to truly be sold on Jared Goff because he's a $130 million quarterback. He signed an extension that goes into effect this year, just like Carson Wentz.
And I think it's interesting. A lot of people don't know is that now
Oh, and this hack.
Matt 9 out of 10, Matt Stafford is going to ask for more money because he's only $20 million on the cap for
That's
2
it.
years. So you're going to have to re-sign him going into next season, probably to another two-year extension, something crazy. I mean, it's the richest owner in the NFL. The Kroenke's got it.
So listen, we're gonna act like the breaking news ain't just happened because I can't redo the mock on the fly. That's why it's 1.0. So again, I thought Detroit would stay at 7 and also pick up 12 because I thought the Lions were going to trade Matt Stafford to the San Francisco 49ers. I was on the right coast. I just had the wrong team. But we're going to keep the Mac how we had it. So we had Detroit going with Zach Wilson at 7. We know that's not going to happen now. You know, we're being unbiased in this draft. But this Matt Stafford trade may wind up helping the Dallas Cowboys because we're at 10 and these quarterbacks are going to start falling. And there may be a quarterback hungry team that need a quarterback at 10. So stay tuned on that. But anyway, at 8, the Carolina Panthers, I had them taking their quarterback of the future, Trey Lance, the big guy out of North Dakota State. You heard it here first. Dwayne Morris on January 30th, 2021. The best quarterback from the 2021 NFL draft, career-wise, will be Trey Lance.
I'm going to ask you a question about that.
He'll be better than Trevor Lawrence.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. And you know, the guy starts laughing. Everybody in the chat, the man started laughing because he knows what I'm about to say. Dwayne, are you saying that he's going to be the best quarterback from a skill standpoint or because he's connected with your coach?
He is going to be the best quarterback because he's going to be with who I think, if you watch Senior Bowl practice this week, Matt Rule has it. Okay? If certain people come along and they have it, Matt Rule has it. And
one of the benefits of Matt Rule is that he explained with the Senior Bowl is that he recruited a lot of these guys that's coming out of the draft. He recruited them to come to Temple. And I mean, he recruited them to come down to Baylor when he was down to Baylor. I mean, he's been around most of these kids since when they were in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he basically said that, and he basically told them, listen, even if I don't draft you, I got to put some good stuff on film. So these practices, I know it's practice. Listen, I am not one of them guys that are impressed with practice, but those Senior Bowl practices look like NFL games.
They do.
They was getting at it. And definitely if you like line play, them linemen and them pass rushers was getting at it.
They were.
So he's going to be Miss Dozier said that she put noted for you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, keep me honest, Julia. But yeah, if this boy goes to Carolina like I think, he will be the best quarterback from this draft long term. At number 9,
the Denver Broncos are on the clock. Interesting pick here.
The Denver Broncos are on the clock. And they break my heart because this is my guy. We've said it on plenty of shows before. My favorite position to watch in this league is cornerback. And when it comes to cornerback play, let's be honest. The Denver Broncos is one of the best when it comes to that. They went and got them Champ Bailey, okay? They made Aqib Talib a very good player when he got out there. Jones Jr. was a great player out there. So Denver knows their corners. I
Chris
think,
Harris.
I'm
Make
sorry,
sure you say
Harris,
him
Chris
too.
Harris Jr.
Make sure you say him too. Chris
Chris Harris
Harris.
Jr. Yeah.
He was a problem.
He's a problem. And you're talking about Atwater. Denver is known for his defensive backs, okay? I think they take Patrick Surtain Jr. out of Alabama, which breaks
Plus,
my heart.
I think he fits the Fangio type of style. I know that
Thank you.
Vic is not able to get what he wants, but Vic Fangio is a defensive guy, and I think Sertan allows him to coach the defense that he wants. Perfect pick here. I think it's a perfect pick, Dwayne.
Yeah, it breaks my heart because I wanted the tandem up Sertan Jr. with his fellow Alabama Crimson Tide, Trayvon Diggs. I wanted to pair those guys up in Jerry World, but Denver breaks my heart and they take Sertan. And then
The Dallas Cowboys is
at
on the
number
clock,
10,
Dwayne.
that team with the star on their helmet, that team with the triplets, that team with 5 Super Bowl championships. Talk to your mama about it being 25 years ago, 2 days ago. I don't care. Okay. America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, at number 10. With Surtain off the board, they take the big, fast, physical corner out of Virginia Tech, Caleb Farley. Not a big drop-off, folks. He could play that 3. He could play that cover 3 that Dan Quinn likes and have Diggs play the press on the other side.
I'm gonna ask you: is he the one-on-one cornerback in the cover 3? Now I know that most people be like, "What am I talking about?"
He's
Because
the
cover
zone.
3 is not okay.
He's the zone corner in the cover 3, and you'll have Diggs be the man on man, and he proved that he could do that in his rookie year. Had a really good rookie year, despite the injuries. He missed games with injuries, but Cowboys need defense. They need corners. I hung up on my boy my esteemed host right here, my best friend, about 2 months ago. I hung up on them over this, and we go corner. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that you said that because actually, the guy who I was talking about in the draft, he did not look well in the senior bowl practices. Came in overweight. Yeah, Marvin Wilson. I got to put you on notice. You came in overweight.
Yeah.
This is something you can't do. I really thought that you could sneak yourself into the upper second round, early first, but you might have pushed yourself to the third by coming in overweight to the Senior Bowl.
Yeah. So the New York Football Giants, they need receivers, man. They need receivers in a bad way. I think they take the third receiver in this draft, the Heisman Trophy winning Devontae Smith. I think that'll be a good pickup for the Giants. You have Slayton. You have underachieving Ingram. I'm sorry, he's an underachiever. You have Sterling Shepard. Golden Tate's not happy, so you don't know if he's going to be there.
This is your buddy, Coach Nagy.
Yes, I said the New York Football Giants. And I think the New York Football Giants in my mock draft will take Devontae Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner.
Let me ask you a question about the Giants. I know I have to bring this up.
There's more breaking news. I heard
No, that was probably a basketball score.
Okay.
I know that we discussed it this week, and you laughed at me because I know he's your favorite guy at ESPN, the 4-letter network. Your buddy Dan Orlovsky said something crazy this week. And I thought it was interesting. He said that Gettleman, New York's Giants GM, needs to call Houston and give them Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, and 3 number 1s for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, he did say that. All right, good evening there, Spiros. Good to see you again. Good to see Matt Nagy again.
So what you think about that, Dwayne? You think the Giants should make a play for Deshaun? Even though I know you got him going to the Jets.
No, I think Deshaun goes to the Jets. I don't think Gettleman could survive doing that. especially when he picked Daniel Jones, and especially when he picked Saquon Barkley at 2 when people knocked that. So I don't see him trading the people that he had 2 and at 6 to do that. All right, the first round picks is in 2022 and 2023. And the third rounder is in 2021. So the Lions get Goff, a first rounder in 2022, a first rounder in 2023, and a third rounder this year for Matt Stafford. That's a good haul for Detroit, man. So they'll have 2 first round picks next year, 2 first round
Nah,
picks in
Sparrows, you can't say.
2023.
Sparrows said the Lions won the trade badly. You can't say who won the trade yet. You never know. To trade.
I mean,
Our buddy Anthony said a stupid trade. I think Anthony might be saying that because
he's saying that
he
because
wanted
he ain't
Stafford to
going
the
to San
49ers.
Francisco. Man, ain't nobody listening to that. He's taking that just from a San Francisco standpoint.
Anthony, you got to realize the Rams is going all in. They got
Come on.
the Rams have.
Now
I
listen,
know a lot of us don't know this, but the Rams have the richest owner in the NFL.
they do.
They have that market, so they don't mind doing things. They took a $15 million. They bit a $15 million cap hit for
Listen,
cutting Gurley. They have no problem doing that.
You knew something was in the works when you heard Les Snead, as we talked about at the top of the show. When you heard Les Snead talking the way that he was talking this week, you knew Goff's days in Los Angeles was numbered. But again, I go
Spiros,
back to this.
the Cowboys don't got the largest market in the NFL.
No.
The largest market in the NFL is the New York area.
He's talking about TV market. He ain't talking about which one bringing the most money.
Yeah.
We know the Cowboys.
About TV market.
We know the Cowboys the richest sports franchise.
But the Kroenke is the richest owner in
all the major sports.
Kroenke's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Multiple billionaire.
Kroenke got more money than Jerry Jones, right? But he do pay Jerry Jones because Jerry Jones is doing his concessions. So, but anyway, hey, listen, you would say it's a stupid trade if you was a fan of the 49ers. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If you're a fan of the 49ers, hell yeah, you're going to say
Listen, I'll just say this, Anthony. I'll say this, and Dwayne knows. I did not want Matt Stafford to get traded to the NFC. I am a big Matt Stafford fan. I've always liked him. I always think Matt Stafford is he's just the perfect quarterback. He throws all these crazy angles. He's actually Patty Mahomes without the athleticism. And he could throw from anywhere, any plateau. I'll just say this. I just think like Dwayne brought it up, it's going to be a chemistry. If him and McVay get along, woo, it could be interesting, but I don't think they'll get along.
The way they play defense, okay, if you had Matt Stafford in those playoffs this year, it could have played out a lot different. And what are they giving up? They're giving up draft capital. And if they're a good team, where those first-round picks going to be at? You know what I mean? So I'm not saying it's a stupid trade for anybody, but we're going to keep rolling, man, because we almost an hour in and we barely out of the top 10. So again, this mock was done before the trade. And my mock, I had the Lions trading Stafford to the 49ers. And I thought the Lions would be picking 12 because I thought that pick would have went to the 49ers. And I had the Lions taking Kwity Paye out of Michigan. You know that's not going to happen now. That's why.
What do you think about Kwity Paye?
It's a biased opinion because everybody knows that I am a Michigan fan. But if you put Kwity Paye, he could play in the 3-4. He could play in the 4-3. He could move inside. He could move outside. He gives you very well versatility. And he gives you somebody that's still young in the game. This game was introduced to this young man in high school. He didn't start playing it until like his junior year of high school. So he's like a blank canvas. You can do anything you want with this guy, but he's athletic. He can get to the quarterback. He can stop the run. And that's what I have there. So then I had Los Angeles Chargers at 13. And they got Justin Herbert. You want to get that young man as many weapons as you can give him. You know, you got the new coach coming in. But I had them taking the big tight end out of Florida, Kyle Pitts, to be a security blanket for Herbert. You know, you get that Kyle Pitts on there stretching the field a little bit.
Dwayne, out of all the picks, um, I believe, and you know, we both root for the Cowboys. But out of all the picks you went through, I think the Chargers getting Kyle Pitts would be so beautiful.
It would be just
I think I just for some reason I just see him. Anybody that knows what Gates and Rivers did for that franchise, it would be them two 2.0
Yeah.
all over again.
all
Kyle
over.
Pitts. Kyle Pitts is. I'll just say this, and I'm not comparing him and what his career is going to be with, but he's a more athletic Shannon Sharp.
Absolutely. My hat is all jacked up.
You're right, Dwayne.
The fro, man. It's the fro. All right, we're going to move on because we almost hour. So at 14, Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer is defense. They hit a home run with Justin Jefferson last year, wide receiver. I think they're going to take a player off potential. I think this guy may be the most overrated player that's going to go in the first round of this draft. He's the edge rusher out of the University of Miami, Gregory Rousseau.
I'm going to say this as a Hurricane fan. He is overrated, but it's kind of crazy because his sacks came from going to the 3 technique
Right.
on passing situations. So he's that tall, faster than the guard, and could get in there and get to the quarterback on a passing situation. I think that he's one of them players that he's going to appear to be a bust towards the beginning of his career, and then he may come on lately as just a great specialist.
Right.
But I don't think that he should be. He's the reason why he'll forget in the first round, Dwayne, is because of those 18 sacks.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, that's true. Listen,
the 18 sacks is crazy, so you got to kind of like pick him. But
yeah.
I don't know about him. I'm a Miami fan. I don't even think he's better than the other kid. But
Phillips.
yeah, I don't think he's better than Phillips. Phillips goes against those tackles. See, the thing about Broussard, when you kick him inside, he got a lot of sacks. So I think it's going to be interesting with him that he kind of it's going to be a stretch when somebody picks him.
Right. Then at 15, we have New England Patriots. And if this really plays out like this, and the Patriots could get a linebacker like Micah Parsons out of Penn State, they'll be calling Bill a genius again. Because what that man would be able to do with this boy at linebacker, but for some reason, this young man seems to be falling down draft boards, and I think the Patriots run to the table and they take him at 15. A little bit more on that breaking news, man. They said that the Lions had 6 trade offers for Matt Stafford. 6. So it was a lot. It was a lot of interest out there for them. Hey, listen. One thing you need to know about Bill Belichick, he don't draft for needs. Come on, how long y'all been watching Bill Belichick?
Bill Belichick have two. He'll have 2 linemen and 5 linebackers.
Come on, man. Don't do that. If you know anything about Bill Belichick and the way that he drafts, he sticks to his board no matter where the player is at. And Micah Parsons will be the highest person on his board if he does 15. So miss me with that. You ain't watching enough Bill Belichick. You ain't been watching him.
With the 16th pick.
16th pick. The Cardinals need to protect Kyler Murray. That man be running for his life every game. I think they take Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC, offensive tackle, athletic, big guy. You know, one thing they knock him on is his arms. They say his arms may not be long enough, but yeah, come on, man. You may say he don't need no linebackers, but we'll see.
I can't compare Gregory Rossard to DeForest Buckner.
No,
I
they're two different players.
DeForest Buckner was excellent against the run.
Mm-hmm.
He is an excellent run defender, pass rushing second. Gregory Rossard is that, I'm telling you, he's that 6'5".
He's Chandler Jones.
David Irving, Chandler Jones. He's one of them guys that you just don't know, and he needs to be. He's going, according to Dwayne's board, if Coach Zimmer gets him, Zimmer will know how to coach him.
Absolutely.
Because Zimmer's going to use him as that edge in that 4-3 cover 2 scheme that he always still runs. But the thing is, Rossard is going to come out as a stretch, because what's going to happen is people are going to, when you draft the edge rusher, people expect 10 sacks per year. That's what an edge rusher is supposed to get you. So I don't think that he's Buckner. Buckner is a guy that just, you're not running towards Buckner. Who's next, Dwayne?
Next, you got the Las Vegas Raiders.
I seen this pick. When you sent me your draft, I seen this pick and I laughed.
And
Christian Barmore. Dwayne, see, the reason why I'm messing with Dwayne is because Dwayne picked a defensive tackle in the first round. And this is something that we discussed.
Yeah, he's not your regular defensive tackle, man. If you see Alabama on their run to this latest natty, Mike Mayock knows these guys, man. Mike Mayock knows these guys. He knows these guys. And I see Barmore as a Mayock guy, a character guy, a guy that just gets after it. He's from Nick Saban. He gets after it. And the way he played towards the end of the year, he skyrocketed. Now, I don't believe, because I hung up on my host and my best friend, I don't believe in taking the D tackle this high. But it ain't me making the pick. Mike Mayock. So I think they take Barmore here.
Spiros just threw you a curveball.
Wow, what did he say?
I'm about to show it to you.
Listen, they keep changing the bar for Bieniemy, okay? They want to talk about a DUI that happened when he was in college. They want to talk about alleged domestic violence, alleged, because nothing is there. They want to talk about he don't call plays, but you're hiring guys. The guy in Los Angeles, okay, for the Chargers, God bless him. I hope he does well. But this man has only been in the NFL for like 3 years. He's already a head coach, okay? Nick Sirianni. What has he done when you look at his resume?
You're literally hiring guys that was running around here as quality control coach. Dwayne, explain to the chat what a quality and control coach does.
They don't do much, man. They just look at the game plan and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and hold that wire. The coaches, if they don't have the mobile headset, they'll have the wire headset. The quality control coach holds that. They hold the wires. So you literally got guys doing that. We all know what's going on with Bieniemy. For the NFL's sake, what Bieniemy should do is just stay with the coach and continue kicking ass. Make the NFL pay. Y'all don't want to hire me? Okay. I'll stay there and keep kicking ass.
But I agree with you, Sparrows. I think Bieniemy, it's a damn shame that we on another cycle and he ain't a coach. But hey, keep building it. Keep staying with the best quarterback in the NFL. And keep building. Keep building. So at 18, because I believe the Miami Dolphins still needs to protect their investment in Tua, I think they take the young, big offensive tackle out of Virginia Tech, Christian Dershaw. I probably said his name wrong. It's okay. Darashaw. Probably more.
Oh, Sparrows. Dwayne really likes your commentary. If I put this comment that you just said up on this board, Dwayne is going to stop his mock draft and give you an earful. Do you want me to put that last comment up there?
Put it up there.
Dwayne is going to throw his hat. He ain't going to believe what you just put up there.
Okay, let's see.
He's gonna give you this man's whole bayou. Whoa. I'm gonna put it up here, Sparrows.
Put it up there. Let me see what you know what, Sparrows? I've been loving the interaction with you, but now I'm dismissing you, sir. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. Is you crazy? You must not know this man's background, this Matt Rule guy. Did you not see how he told these kids at the Senior Bowl this week? Did you see that comment when he told them about being coachable? Just because you say yes, sir, that don't mean you coachable. All right, so you're gonna get coached hard. Matt Rule, I wanted him in Dallas so bad. Okay, this Matt Rule guy
he came from the NFL, Sparrows.
Yeah.
Matt Rule did not come from college.
No,
he came from the
NFL.
NFL.
Coach in college, but he was raised in NFL, bruh.
No, Sparrows.
He's a Tom
He
Coughlin
had NFL.
disciple. He's a Tom Coughlin disciple, brother. Come on now. He was raised in NFL. When Temple grabbed Matt Rule, they took him off the Giant coaching staff, bruh. He was on the Giants coaching staff. Tom Coughlin, Super Bowls, okay? He was part of that. Then he went to Temple, which was a nowhere football program on the Northeast. He turned them around. Then he went to Baylor after that Art Browns disaster down there and turned them around. Had them competing for championships. Are you crazy? You must be out your mind. And I like that you interact with us. But come on, man.
He cleaned it up, Dwayne. He cleaned it up.
I'll give you Zach Taylor. Yeah, I'll give you that. And I'll give you the coach that the Los Angeles Chargers hired. But you stay off.
The thing is, Sparrows, I know that you're looking at
his college record was 47-43. Did you see Temple's record before Matt Rule got there, sir? Did you see where Temple was at before?
I'll just say this. It's two coaches that won pretty decent in Temple.
Disarray of the Baylor program with all them damn suspensions and stuff when he had to take after that damn crook Art Browns. 47-43 in college. You should be crowning his ass. Is you crazy?
Sparrows, that's Dwayne's favorite coach. You messing with his boy now, Sparrows.
Got my blood pressure going up. Are you crazy?
You told me to put it up.
Put it up there. You know what was going to happen. I love Matt Rule. You hear me? I love him. I'm mad that Jerry Jones wasn't smart enough to bring him to Dallas.
19, you got the Washington football team.
Now listen, and people are going to think I'm crazy, okay? But the Washington football team is building something on that defense, okay? With that front four. I'm going to add a damn quality linebacker to the mix. They just make that front seven even that more dangerous.
You don't think they're gonna go with a skill position player to go with Scary Terry?
No, because they're gonna get them a quarterback. They're gonna be fine. They're gonna make this defense so Ron Rivera like. They're gonna take.
He might get Luke Kuechly to come out of retirement and play again.
Take that big physical linebacker out of Notre Dame, and I don't want to see it as a Cowboy fan, but they're going to take Jeremiah Owusu-Kamara. And I know I probably said his name wrong. Koromoa. I'm sorry. Something like that.
At number 20, the Chicago Bears.
20 Chicago Bears takes, again, a little biased. I watched this young man's whole career. He's solid, folks. He's just solid. He's somebody that you put out a tackle for the next 10 years. God willing, his health holds up. He could play in the cold weather. And they take Jalen Mayfield to protect who? I don't know who, because they can't do it. And I know, Matt Nagy, you was on here for a little while. You can't do it with Trubisky and Foles again, man. But we got to get something.
You know Sparrows and Coach Nagy, they on you about the Chicago. So he said, let them trust you with this pick.
Trust me. You could not go wrong with Jalen Mayfield. You put him there. The kid could have left. He could have stayed out this year. He came back for his team. He played damn well for the University of Michigan, and I don't is that yeah. Well, that's who I like. Okay, 21 Indianapolis Colts.
Woo!
They take J.C. Horn,
Oh,
and they'd be very happy about it. Okay,
Dwayne.
they take J.C. Horn, the corner
J.C. Horn
from
playing for
South
Matt
Carolina.
Eberflus.
What happened?
J.C. Horn playing for Coach Eberflus.
I'm trying to tell you, man. I do my homework. Y'all think I just be throwing these names out? No, I
What?
watch film, baby. And wait
What?
till you see what we got in
What?
store for y'all. This is
What?
just the beginning.
J.C. Horn playing for Coach Eberflus.
Listen, Leatherwood is good. He's good. He's good. He's good. Leatherwood's going to be a steal for somebody. Late first round, early second round. You're right. But I think Mayfield's just a little bit better. He's solid. He has that punch. He plays with leverage. He attacks you. He mauls you. He's one of those guys. He's a Taylor Lewan, okay? And y'all know how I love Taylor Lewan at Tennessee. Mayfield is a Taylor Lewan, man. He just going to get his lunch pail, and he going to come to work. He ain't going to take no damn 15-minute breaks. You're going to force him. You're going to have to force him to take a lunch break. The kid loves football. Oh, he's much better than the kid from Texas. He's much better. And I got the kid from Texas going in the first round, too. I don't have Leatherwood going in the first round. But I got the kid from Texas going in the first round, too. He's good. I just think Mayfield's a little bit better. Listen, don't trust me because I'm not always right. But I got to stay solid with my mouth because this is what I'm saying. But trust me when I tell you about Matt Rule. You take that to the bank. That's one you take to the bank.
The Tennessee Titans is on the clock.
Tennessee Titans at 22. Hey, man, who's their coach? We talking Mike Vrabel, right? They're going to take that one man that you already talked about earlier. They're going to take Jalen Phillips, that edge rusher from Miami.
It's amazing because, man, you talk a lot about Vrabel and what he's trying to do with that defense. It's amazing that he picked up Vic Beasley and David Clowney, and he struck out with both of them.
Yep.
And it's kind of crazy because, like, Clowney's one of those free agents that Clowney was wanting $20 million. Couldn't get $20 million a year. Got $10 million a year. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know if you guys in the chat realize what's going to happen in the NFL. I would be shocked if the David Clowney signs for over $8 million. Because his stock has lost so much with these injuries, and he just doesn't produce numbers. I mean, it's weird. Clowney's free agency hit, and at one time we thought that he had Hall of Fame talent, but he has not been a very good player in the NFL. He's been average at best. The New York Jets are back on the clock.
At 23, they get their new shiny quarterback. A weapon. And they go with Kadarius Toney from Florida.
Woo.
Look him up.
Woo.
That's all I'm going to say to y'all. Look that kid up. Look Kadarius up. I'm trying to tell you, he's a sleeper.
Woo.
Okay? He does it all.
Pittsburgh Steelers is on the clock.
Need to infuse that running game, okay? And they do it with a guy that has similar skills to Le'Veon Bell. Yes, I said it. His skills are very similar. And they take Travis Etienne from Clemson. That boy can run it. He can catch it. He's Lev Bell 2.0. So that's why Pittsburgh Steelers.
Your next pick got my stomach boiling. Doing jumping jacks right now. Your next pick.
Listen, I love this kid. I know he played at Tulsa. I know people are gonna be like, "What type of competition did he play against?" But let me tell you something, man. This Zaven Collins, the linebacker out of Tulsa, Urban Meyer will run the card up to get him and put on that Jacksonville defense. This kid does it all as a linebacker. He can run. He could rush the passer. He could drop back and cover it. And when he takes it to the house.
Within the first 3 years of his NFL career, he's going to be leading the NFL in tackles.
I believe
I'll say this. He ain't the fastest linebacker.
no.
Parsons has the highest ceiling, but Xavier Collins makes all the plays.
Yes.
The Cleveland Browns are on the clock.
And they take the nice corner. They take the nice safety out of TCU. They're set offensively, folks. They need to build up on that defense. Their front four is good. They got good linebackers. And I think they take this safety. He was a Thorpe Award finalist this year. Man, listen, I know they say you don't take safeties in the first round. You take this safety in the first round. I think they take the kid out of TCU, and I think they'll be happy about it. And just give me 1 second because something just came through. And okay, they're messing with me, man. People, talk to me on the chat if you got any questions about this.
I think that is the perfect player to pick for Cleveland. I think that solidifies their secondary. They can get back to what they used to be. And it's always funny when we talk about Cleveland and getting the kid from Ohio State. The guy won All Pro his rookie year. In the last 2 years, he hasn't been doing well.
Yeah.
He's been
But
hurt.
I like
So
Trayvon
I think
Mullen.
I think their secondary, Cleveland's defense, and I know me and you discussed Cleveland, and I don't know if you want to discuss them. We'll discuss them at the end of the show.
Okay.
Because I think they have some interesting things going on with their franchise. The next Baltimore Ravens are on the clock.
Baltimore Ravens. And what do we know the Ravens for, right? We know them for that 3-4 defense. We know them for having linebackers. We know the Bart Scotts. We're not talking Ray Lewis. We're talking on the other side. The Bart Scotts, the I'm drawing a blank. What's
Peter Bower?
Bower, but what's my other dude's name? Sizzle.
Oh, Suggs.
Yeah, talking about Suggs, yeah. So they're gonna take this athletic linebacker out of University of Georgia. You know, defense is where Baltimore's bread and butter is, and they're gonna take Azeez Ojulari from Georgia. Then at 28,
New Orleans are on the clock. New
Orleans, and they're gonna take the third. You heard it right. The third edge rusher out of the University of Miami. The U. Okay? Quincy Roche.
I think that's a good fit. I'm going to be honest with you. Put him on that line with them two horses. And
okay. The Lions, just real quick before I go back to him, just for people to know, the Lions inherit 4 years, 106.6 from Jared Goff. So the Lions got their quarterback. They got their quarterback. They're paying this man $106 million. Okay. So Roche, if you look at
Roche is the perfect player to play in that defense. And I don't know if a lot of people have been realizing it, but the Saints is not a high-powered offense anymore. They are a defensive-oriented team. Yeah. Their defense is really, really good going forward. So it's going to be interesting.
And this kid had a great Senior Bowl week, and he played well.
Sparrows, you said the Saints don't care about edge rusher. They got one of the best edge rushers in the game right now.
Listen.
Sparrows, don't start your stuff, man.
Listen, I love him. Keep it coming, man. I'm glad you're on the Let's Talk Sports stuff. Hit us on this sports stuff, Sparrows. We happy that you're here. Yeah, I understand, sir.
Green Bay is on the clock, Dwayne.
Well, listen, Bobby, I don't know if you're still watching, Bobby, but I don't think the Rams is on crack. Actually, I think Stafford going to the Rams is a good thing, man. We're going to talk more. Let us just finish this, Bob, and we'll go break down it because y'all want it. And I want y'all to comment on it. Everybody, give us a few minutes to run through these last picks.
Yeah, we'll discuss the trade.
All right. Green Bay. They did Aaron Rodgers wrong last year, taking Jordan Love in the first pick in the first round. This kid, man, plays in the SEC, played in the bright lights, won the national championship, not this year, but the year before. Terrence Marshall Jr. from LSU. He can stretch the field. He's a big kid. And I'm going to address that in a second, Bob. Trust me. Stick with me. I'm going to answer your text. Let me run through these last picks real quick. So Terrence Marshall, okay, because we want to talk this trade. That's what everybody want to talk. Let's run through these picks. Buffalo. Who struggled to run the ball this year.
Perfect pick right here.
Struggled to run.
You nailed this pick out the park.
Najee Harris, the running back from Alabama. Saban running back. He's a pro.
He could catch out the backfield, do it
Catch out the
hard,
backfield. No more to talk about.
and he's not beat up.
Tampa Bay Bucks. Okay. They're going to the Super Bowl, but their corner struggled a little bit. So I give them a corner. I give them Allen Robinson out of Central Florida. There's another Central Florida defensive back that's just causing a lot of buzz. But this Allen Robinson, he's solid. He plays solid. He's good. Kansas City Chiefs, you can see one thing they got to worry about going into the Super Bowl is they're beat up at tackle. Fisher, that's a big injury. Fisher ain't going to be back till late in the season with an Achilles. He got an Achilles in the championship game. So he's going to be gone a lot of next year. Okay.
I just asked that you guys, hey, Bobby, if you're in the chat, don't text Dwayne. Just ask some questions in the chat if you're still watching, because he dropped his laptop. I mean his tablet, messing with you, looking at that daggone phone.
My bad.
But just give it, anybody that wants to talk about the trade, we'll discuss the trade and other things. Just give us a second. And
last pick, I'm telling you why, and it's a name that Spiro said earlier. It's Samuel Cosmi, the offensive tackle out of Texas. I think the Super Bowl. Oh, I'm sorry. I think the Kansas City Chiefs take him with the 32nd pick. Okay, so that's the Dwayne Morris. That's the Wayne 1.0 mock. There'll be another one. Q will tell me when he wants me to put it out. I'm always adjusting and working on these things, so we'll put it together. And of course, we got to make some changes to it because this is what sports is. We live, man. And the NFL asked the Lions to take care of this before the Super Bowl, and they did. So this won't take up Super Bowl week. It'll be talked about tomorrow. It'll be talked about Monday, and then we'll be all Super Bowl. So Q.
Just give me a second. Wait. Give me a second. I gotta take a break for a second. So everybody in the show, just give us a second to reset. And we'll be right back. Right back. Right back. Yeah, we back. Just need a second to readjust. We're gonna break down the trade.
Yeah, go ahead, Q. I'll let you start.
No, I just had to readjust. I had to actually
No, go ahead. I'm just saying. You could be the first to tell people what you think about it.
I think the trade is good for both teams. I think Jared Goff is a good quarterback. I think that Sean McVay is overrated. Sean McVay is a very innovative play caller, but I think Sean McVay gets a lot of credit as being this. I think he gets a lot of credit for being this quote unquote so much genius, and he hasn't won nothing. So I think Jared Goff gets a fresh break with your coaching staff that's going to coach him up. That's going to be a ball control team. If you know anything about Dan Campbell, what he intends to do, I think it's a good trade for both teams. I think the Rams realize that they need to win. I think their best player, Aaron Donald, showed his frustration that he wants to win a Super Bowl. I think it's interesting that a lot of these players, Dwayne, and Spiros, I totally disagree with you. Jared Goff is a good quarterback. Jared Goff is
That's
not a
been
bum.
to the Super Bowl. Let's be honest.
Jared Goff is not a bad quarterback.
Well, here's the problem that I have with it, right? It's a good trade for both people. But if this doesn't prove to you that the NFL is a business, tell me how many quarterbacks would have came back and played in the playoffs with 3 pins in his throwing hand. 3 pins in his throwing hand. And he completed a game like that, and he started another game with that.
See
So
what
that
happened?
kid shows you that he's tough. And there's not a lot of quarterbacks. There's not a lot of players in this NFL that's going to go out there and play with 3 pins in their throwing
Well,
hand. Yeah,
Spiros,
surgery.
Spiros, Spiros, Spiros. I need you to take the emotion out of what you're saying. One thing about these quarterbacks in the NFL and these coaches and these owners, it's not even coming from the fans anymore. Nobody has any patience. Nobody. It used to take quarterbacks 3 to 4 years to develop. Jared Goff is not a bad quarterback. He got to the Super Bowl. Whether we could say it was the team around him, the coaching, the running back, he got to the Super Bowl, and they got out coached in the Super Bowl. He's not a bum. Sam Donald's not a bum. Sam Donald ain't won shit. But this is what we got to understand. Quarterbacks need to be in the right system. McVay is one of those guys who, first of all, if you watch what Jared Goff did, McVay didn't even let him call a play until like 5 seconds on the play clock.
Mm-hmm.
Every play. You got some quarterbacks that don't even call audibles because their coach don't let them. They got to call a play that's called. So I say that to say that when you basing a quarterback, if a quarterback hasn't played 5 years in the NFL, you can't even say if they're good or not. You just can't say it. Or bad. Jared Goff is not a bad quarterback. I think it's a good trade for both teams, Dwayne. I think both trades got what they want. I think the Rams realize that they have probably a 2 or 3 year window because I really believe Aaron Donald is not going to stay with that franchise like with their propensity for losing. And I know that Jalen Ramsey don't want to lose. It's interesting. They will be on their 3rd defensive coordinator in 3 years. But I don't think that's a problem because they have 2 of the best players at their position, and it doesn't take much to coach a defense when you got those 2 to work with as your cornerstones.
Listen, I think in the type of offense that Detroit is going to run with Anthony Lynn, I think that offense is going to fit Jared Goff. Now, listen, man. You think about Jared Goff and the big contract that he signed. You think about Carson Wentz and the deal that he signed. And Dak Prescott didn't get his money, right? So you had the Eagles that had to make a decision if they wanted to keep Carson Wentz, and you got Goff who just got traded. So was the Cowboys right in making Dak Prescott wait to see how he played? They're gonna sign him now, but he proved to be better than Wentz and Goff. To me, he proved it.
And
But
Dwayne, and you have literally to say that a 4th round quarterback is better than the 1st and 2nd pick of that draft. And not that he has better skills than them. He's better right now in the system that he's in than those 2 quarterbacks.
yeah.
Because even me and you, as much as we got on Carson Wentz, we know Carson Wentz has all the talent.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz can make all the throws. He's big, he's athletic, but he just regressed. And same thing with Goff. But you know, my buddy Spiros thinks Goff's his bum, and he's 23rd rated quarterback. Spiros, you killing me. You're doing the Skip Bayless looking at QBR. QBR means nothing to me. Tom Brady threw 3 interceptions during the NFC Championship, and people said that he was the best player in the game. When clearly, you know, the Tampa Bay's defense won that game.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dwayne.
I mean, listen, I got a lot of 49er fans coming to me telling me that the Rams is stupid, this, that, no. Okay. But you're gonna have to play these Rams now, San Francisco, with Matt
I want to
Stafford
ask
at
them
quarterback.
something. If
And
they're
then
in
I
the
got a
chat, Dwayne,
question. I got a question for the San Francisco 49er fans that's
would you have
calling
made
this
the
trade.
trade?
What?
Would they have? If you were a
No,
49er fan, would you?
that's not the question I want to ask these San Francisco 49er fans, because I'm still getting all this. They talking about if we get Deshaun Watson. Y'all don't have Deshaun Watson. Okay, y'all don't have him. Okay, you got to get him first. Okay, so if you look at the Rams situation, they got Matt Stafford at quarterback. Who's your quarterback?
Porn star Jimmy.
Who's your quarterback? Do you believe in Garoppolo? Y'all talking about Deshaun Watson. Do you have the capital to get Deshaun Watson? Do you know that Deshaun Watson wants to go to San Francisco? He has a no trade clause. And he talking about the Jets, and he talking about Miami. He ain't mentioning San Francisco. So you got to get him first. Like, we got to talk about what's the here and now. And if you look at the here and now, right now, the Rams have a better quarterback situation than the 49ers. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. That's it. I mean, that's all you got to say. Now, what y'all do is what y'all do.
I'll tell y'all this. We just saw two quarterbacks get traded for each other. The price tag for Deshaun Watson, if the GM changes his mind, has just went up, folks.
Right.
It just went up.
That's it.
So that's my thing on the trade, Dwayne. I think the trade is good for both teams.
I will say this: Dan Campbell and the powers that be must have a lot of trust in Jared Goff, because you're taking on that 4 years, $106.6 million. That's not a little contract. You know,
Sparrows. The thing that you got to stop saying Watson at minimum is 3 first rounders. Watson is not worth 3 first rounders if you're taking on $40 million a year.
You're taking on
You
that
have to,
contract.
this is not monopoly money.
Yeah, you're taking on his contract. That's what everybody got to remember. Any team that takes on Watson, they got to be able to take the salary cap hit, man. And if you see a helmet that looks like the Rams, that's the Union Rams, man. I had somebody ask me that on the show before, saying if you're a Cowboy fan, why you got a Rams helmet? It's the Union Rams. It's Pop Warner. It's who I used to coach, okay? And I was the president of that organization. But hey, listen, man, this is good for the NFL. It gives us something to talk about. I think it's a good deal. Now, listen, for the Lions, you saying, yeah, the Lions got 2 first-round picks. But if the Rams think they're going to be who they're going to be with Stafford, those is late first-round picks, you know? But it's interesting. It's interesting. If it's true that the Lions had 6 teams come with offers, they believe that they could do something with Jared Goff, man. So we got anything else, Q? We coming up on an hour and a half, man. This was a great show.
Brad Holmes. People don't know is that the GM Brad Holmes hasn't drafted in the first round since 2016. So the Lions better use these picks right.
Yeah, but
This guy just became the GM.
Just became the GM. And think about where Brad Holmes came from. Can y'all please think about where Brad Holmes came from? Do y'all know where Brad Holmes came from? Any guess? Any guess where he came from, folks? He came from the Rams. He came from the Rams. So you don't think he knows Jared Goff? Come on, man. He came from the Rams. So are you saying he's helping out the Rams by giving them hold on 1 second.
Well, what people need to realize, when the last time Matt Stafford played 16 games in the season?
Yeah,
Matt's my guy. I mean, Sam Brett. No, Sam Brett. Stafford is my guy. I'm a big Stafford fan, but he gets hurt a lot, and we will see now because the spotlight is definitely on him. I know
all
Spiros.
I'm
You mentioned
saying is I want people to realize where this man came from. Okay?
Spiros. You watch too much of Rob Parker because he's saying what Rob Parker calls Matt Stafford, Stat Patford.
Again, Spiros and everybody else that's listening, Brad Holmes, the general manager of the Detroit Lions, where did he come from? He helped
Why would he take golf if he thought golf wasn't good?
he helped draft golf. He was in Los Angeles. He comes from the Rams front office. Why do you think they was able to swing this deal? He knows this guy. He's the one that helped sign him to a long-term deal. So he
And we need
feels more than confident.
and we really need to look at the contract. Is it guaranteed? It may be a clause in there after a year or two. I think the trade was good for both teams. I think the Rams did what they wanted to do. I think the Rams that NFC West man is all right, 49ers. The 49ers say that y'all gonna get Watson and he up now.
I mean, are y'all going to get Watson? I think a more realistic thing for the 49ers is to trade up and get a Zach Wilson in the draft. You got Detroit that got the 7th pick now. They got their quarterback. So what you willing to give Detroit to move from 12 to 7 if you're the San Francisco 49ers? What are you willing to get? Of course they can. They've already taken on Goff's contract. Look at what Stafford was making and look at what Goff was making.
Stafford was making 21 a year.
Yeah.
That's a good trade. Good trade for both teams. We'll see. If the Rams host the Super Bowl, Rams win the Super Bowl, ain't nobody gonna say nothing.
I'm just trying to say this dude Brad Holmes has been around Goff his whole career. He comes from the Rams front office. You don't hear nobody. This is what I'm trying to tell you about Let's Talk. You don't hear nobody that's breaking this stuff down on NFL Network or any other place tell you where Brad Holmes came from. But you get it here. Let's talk. Listen, man, we know what we talking about. We love this game, man. Don't get all caught up on the 4 and 3 letter networks. We know what we talking about too. I put my mock draft up against any of them. I put my analysis up against any of them. Get Dave Orlovsky on here and let me go blow to blow with him. I'm ready.
We're gonna actually we're gonna close the show.
Yeah.
We might do a show Wednesday. If something happens before Wednesday,
too much going on.
If we might do a show Wednesday night. It'll be at nighttime Wednesday because we have a show at 7 o'clock on 7 o'clock on Wednesday. But if we do a football show, it'll be Wednesday night. No, it won't be Wednesday night. Scratch that.
No.
I spoke too soon. My bad, Dwayne. It will not be Wednesday night at all. But it'll be a show next week. Next weekend.
Friday. It may be Friday. Friday may be the night that we pop up with quick football show.
Yeah.
And we'll give you a Super Bowl preview because we got to do a Super Bowl preview. We got to do that.
With that, thanks for joining the chat.
NFL, what he said?
Yeah.
He was newer to the NFL.
Yeah, we vets. We're not vets.
I've been at it, man. But we love you interacting with us, man. Just stay off my boy Matt Rule. I'm gonna close it out with that. Leave Matt Rule alone.
With that, thanks for joining us in the chat. Y'all take it easy.